I was having a really hard time managing the pain. I remember I was having a hard time. She was trying to give me water, liquids, and I couldn't swallow anything. I was tired and I was really hungry because I didn't eat anything. It was morning, like 5 in the morning when I got up. The baby wasn't, like, she just wasn't coming. So she mentioned not having the baby there, I think like twice. The first time immediately, and then once she agreed to leave me there for like 10, 15 minutes. And then she didn't mention it again, and then we just kept trying. So I just assumed that, hey, we're good. We can keep doing it. So 4 hours passed. And, you know, I'm still pushing and nothing is happening, pushing in different positions. I was really, really tired. I was just, I don't know, I was exhausted and in so much pain. I couldn't control, like, anything. They got on top of me and just started pushing my stomach, like pushing her down, while the other one worked trying to see if she could, like, you know, help somehow, like maneuver getting her out. And that wasn't working. I remember asking, don't you have forceps? Like, can't you pull her out? And they're like, no, we don't have any of that stuff here. The reality of like the situation sets in and you're like, we're fucked. Like, I can't push this baby out. Baby's not coming. At some point they said, I can't get a heartbeat. And I was like, what? And she's like, oh, it's probably just because she changed position. They helped me get on all fours. And I guess like she had already come past like whatever she was getting stuck on before, where I got on all fours and it allowed, I don't know, there was more space for her to actually come. And then they saw that her arm like was here, like on her face like this. And then she's like, hey, this is gonna feel really uncomfortable, but I gotta reach in there and I gotta move her arm to get her out. So they reached in somehow and like pushed her arm down, and then like they physically like brought her, helped get her out. So then when she comes out, they're freaking out because they're like, she has meconium. So then I turn around and I see that it's not like thin meconium. It is like thick, like pea soup, you know, meconium all over her, all over everything. There's no crying. The baby's like, and I look at her. I remember I just looked at her and I was like, she's dead. She was bluish.
She wasn't breathing.
She wasn't breathing.
She had a heart rate. The EMT got there pretty quickly.
They basically like move her out of the way and start working on Maddie. And, you know, like asking a million questions and everything they're supposed to do. So then they put their oxygen on her and they just take her. Like, you know, at that point, Shawn left with her. My sister helped me into the tub because I wanted to rinse off. And then I come out and I go to lay on the bed, to sit on the bed, and I see that the bed is just completely drenched in blood. I mean, it looked like a murder scene. It was just absolutely insane. So I got there and I stand up and I look at her and her eyes are doing this. They're just twitching, kind of like this. And like I immediately knew, I'm like, this, like she has brain damage. Like she has a problem now.
Yeah, I mean, we spent a lot of time with their head of neurology. He told us, you know, if you were like my daughter and my son-in-law or whatever, I would tell you to let her go, right? I've seen these, you know, families in these situations, and it almost always breaks apart the marriage, and it's, you know, trying to do this is not.
Yeah.
It's a very hard life that you've got ahead of you.
I mean, it was hard for us and hard for her as well, and everything she would be going through.
Right.
She was on methadone to get weaned off of those drugs that allow you to be intubated. And then you have to wean her off methadone too. But while she was on methadone, seems like pain-free. So she was so alert. Like I remember Shawn like talking to her and she would like hold his face. Like she had never done any of this stuff. And we were just like, oh my God, like she is really aware of everything that's happening.
We took her home. We take her to her, 6 therapies a week, 2 physical, 2 occupational.
We
2
did her first
speech.
birthday at home.
We did
Every
her
other
first
friends
birthday.
came over, everything. It was a great birthday. At
Yeah,
home, yeah.
we were home for
She
that.
was born February 26th, and she was home for about 2 weeks at that point. And that was actually the last time she went to the hospital. She was never hospitalized again. She stabilized really well. And then we just, began a new life basically at home with a kid with severe medical needs. We kind of isolated ourselves and didn't really, we just didn't really have a social life anymore. We didn't want people over because you don't want the germs, you don't want them to be talking and, God knows where they were. And like every little thing like matters. She's with us and we're going to make sure she stays with us as long as we can, especially when they're telling you that your kid isn't going to make it past year 1. And here you are, like it's, she's 1.5 and doing well. We take her to the park, we would go out on our nightly walks. Mind you, we're like on a stroller with an oxygen tank, baby, and like a monitor, like we look like a walking hospital, but we're trying, to do it and, take her out and do stuff. The swing can be so extreme, minute to minute. And we were able to get ourselves from the minute to minute, hour to hour to stringing a few good days together to saying, oh my God, can this be better tomorrow? Or can we be, not even better, can we be at this level tomorrow? And that's that's success. And we did, we started stringing days together and then weeks. I mean, it took years to get to that point. But we had like a good month. Like she had a few, issues or hiccups this day and that day and whatever, but overall it was pretty steady. This one day, Maddie was like breathing so well, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take her off her oxygen tonight, and she's not going to sleep with oxygen. Actually, no, she had oxygen on, and then I took it off that night, and she was fine. And then we woke up, and she wasn't breathing, and that was it. That's when it ended, and it was just crazy because I don't know. I just feel like there's so much momentum and so much happening, and it was like you just hit like a brick wall.
It was,
and it was not negotiable. And I feel like I had been negotiating every second of her existence since she came out. The normal everyday things that make people so depressed or angry or whatever, just like that is so trivial. Like that you are like your life is so freaking easy. Like you just get up and breathe and walk and do whatever you need to do. And you should be thankful you could just do those simple things because, like some people can't.
She would just lay on me, right? And we would just kind of like lay on the couch and just like she would take a nap, I would take a nap. We would just kind of, watch a football game or whatever. And, for me, those were probably the best times.
I feel like it was like a real spiritual experience for me. Like I'm not religious, but like I knew there was, like if there's ever any doubt, we all go through like, oh, is God real? Or, is there anything else beyond this life or whatever? And when I had her with me, like that just wasn't like a doubt. Like I describe it as always like I felt plugged in. Like she was the plug, and I knew that there was something bigger, and it was her because I don't feel that anymore.